Hey Libra, what's up? Welcome to your guys' reading. There's so many messages flowing already, so I figure we'll just get right into it. I feel like I'm gonna pull an oracle and then read from the book. I also feel like there could be something going on where you are really involved in something and you're trying to, it's almost like something's on its way, and you're trying to prepare for it. It's like to prepare for it, but not to like hurry up and wait for it. It's like there's still things that need to happen before it's there. So it's kind of this interesting energy. And then there's almost this thing where silencing everything that's going on, even though you're a part of this thing and you need to listen, like to the people involved in it, where that part's extremely important, but silencing everything so that you can hear your own thoughts and feel your own emotions through it. That's maybe something that you're doing at this time so that you can work well in it or something. It's something like that. Yeah, okay, so this is what I pulled for. I was like, this top card is going to be your energy of how, like, the space you're in right now. And then the card that I pull is going to be the guidance, or more the traditional oracle card in the reading. So it says, leaping through the air, a plan you have made is on track. If you are waiting for something, get to work and stop putting off ideas or projects you are considering. Also, flying fish fly out of the water to evade predators. So it's almost like, I wonder if there's something you want to dive deep into. You want to feel your emotions through it, but you feel like if you do, something's going to eat you up, or it's not the time and place to do that, you know? And so you kind of have to keep staying on the surface of things, but you feel like, maybe you feel like it's not helping, it's just staving something off, but not fully. So that's cool. Let's see. Gliding through the currents. With a different approach, you will glide through a situation with grace and ease. Going inward and bringing your understanding, perspective, or behavior into flow will help your dreams take flight. I really like that, to the point where I'll say I'll love it. I love it when that's how things work out. And then you have life is better together. Maybe there's a spirit of cooperation or collaboration here. Seek assistance from your community, connect with family, friends, or others who will support you. It can be as simple as making a phone call. Okay. Give some energy for Libra, please. What's Libra's main energy here? Ooh, there's a lot. There's a lot. Sometimes it's like, which one do I choose? And if there's too many to choose from, sometimes it's like, oh, I want to run away from all of it. Okay, Two of Cups. So this particular reading is going to be about probably specifically you and another person. If you're not dealing with another person, or even if you are, I would say as well as that, you're probably learning to implement some form of self-care within a difficult process, or self-love, being able to see yourself, validate yourself, and use that as part of your foundation of how you move through it. There's also this, like, it's like one wolf is looking out and the other one is looking ahead or looking straight at. It's facing something head on. So maybe you're kind of in two minds about something, like where you're anticipating, you're seeing the situation, you're trying to be in the situation, but you also see like a deeper thing going on in the background. All right, let's pull more on that. What's the challenge here? The Four of Swords, the Four of Wands. I like that too, the Four of Wands, like victories. I think that the challenge here is to believe that you can be victorious in all these different aspects. And I think we'll pull more on that. But I think that the challenge is that, like, you don't know what to look at, so you don't know how to focus on something. You don't know how to give the right attention to things. You're just trying to, like, keep everything functioning, keep it working. Sometimes that can be a strong Libra trait too, is like, keep it all functioning for everybody else. And, like, just forget to check in with yourself and be like, is this functioning for me? Like, is it helping me function? Or am I giving what I have for myself so that it can function for others better? Okay. What's in your headspace, Libra? I don't know why bras are really, what? Okay. I want to call you like Libra, and I don't know why, but then they're unrelated, but also the subject of like boobs and bra is coming up, and I don't know why, other than just to make me giggle. Let's see. Okay. You got the World in your headspace. So that tells me that you're ready for some major shift to take place, some major change to take place. Maybe it's specifically you going from almost feeling uncomfortable getting your needs met, or uncomfortable talking about your challenging emotions and stuff through a process, and going into just being in the mix of all that, and like letting all the things guide you, letting like what you logically know needs to happen guide you alongside how you're emotionally processing everything, and somehow like letting all of that work together to create a good situation with an outcome that works for you too, while also creating soul growth within that situation, within yourself. I feel the need to also say, like, what do I want to say there? You kind of know you're growing when things are super challenging, and when you kind of get stuck in your head about things and you feel like crap, and it's hard to figure out what to do to make yourself not feel like crap because you like don't have a lot of energy to do those things. That's like a really strong point of growth, oddly enough. And sometimes you can be in that for a while, and sometimes it's just for a little bit, but like the more that you do the things that work for you, like, they don't all have to feel good before you do them, but if you notice they feel good when you're doing them, that's kind of how you know to just keep doing those things. And sometimes it's not always about what you, like if you're showing up as your true values, if you're showing up as who you want to be, or with your true values and as who you want to be, sometimes it's not about like how people are perceiving you and all that stuff. It's just about that you continue to show up to the spaces that you're a part of, and kind of from that point, like your purpose there, your growth, the changes that want to happen, they start to reveal themselves. And sometimes we can get a lot in our heads about what needs to change and be kind of frustrated that it's not changing the way that we hoped it would in the amount of time and with the precision that we want it to. But it's good to remember that being consistently going back to the things that create those changes is the larger process. It all contributes to that larger process of changing, and it can't really be another way. I don't know what I'm trying to say there. I feel like I'm trying to reassure you, but I don't think you need reassurance. What do you need, Libra? You just came from an exhausting situation. You came from a situation where you just had to keep going through it no matter what, knowing that eventually it was either going to end or change, or that you were going to come into a change. And I feel like you're trying to do something that takes big energy with a sense of being drained from the last thing. So already your energy levels are maybe not where you're hoping they would be to give such big energy to a situation. Maybe that also indicates that like your trust is off, your like other things were affected there. Let's just get another one and see what's going on there. The 8 of Gardens or the 8 of Pentacles. Also, you put in a lot of work for, I think this is saying like you either put in a lot of work for a little return or something that you just had to keep working at, and it wasn't towards a desire that you had, it was to mitigate damage or something. Or maybe this is where you put in a lot of work and it's kind of like you wouldn't do that again. If you had the choice, you would do it differently. You would either ask for like more resources or more help, or like you wouldn't make yourself go through it in the same way that you felt you had to. You would kind of get your needs met a little more. So there is a sense of like, hold on, I'm trying to put all this together. There's a sense of you feeling like you understand what it means to kind of have abandoned yourself in something. And you might be okay, I don't know if any of you guys heard that. I'll listen to it and play it back and cut it out. But Siri just tried to read out my text messages to me. Okay, so it's almost like You know what it feels like to have your needs go unmet and to almost feel like you had to abandon yourself in order to create compromise or harmony, which it's like there's a link to that here. Let me see if a card can tell me. And if it can't, we'll just put it back in the deck. Six of Fire, victory. Success. Oh, okay. There's something really strong about you being attached. Like there's something that you really want to happen from this situation. There's a win in this for you. If this is a relationship, it's like the sense of justice is strong here, that you deserve something where you kind of win on all fronts, where the other person wins, you win, like everything makes sense. If this is just regarding you and another person, it's kind of like, you know what it feels like to just be in the position of someone needing to just bend over for the other person, and you're not trying to put that on someone else either, which I think could be contributing to you feeling like you have to do more for them, or like work around their plans and like kind of back down on your own sometimes. But actually, this is a situation where you're really passionately, I guess, just engaged with it. And so it means something to you, and you don't want to like fight about it, but you want whatever you want from it to come through. And it reminds me of that sense, it's that thing, it's that quote again coming up. It came up in a few readings ago, where it's like, I used to be so happy and outgoing, and like I used to just be one of the most happy and outgoing people I knew. And then I turned into somebody who had to heal every day from something in different ways. And I just had to keep doing that after kind of like feeling like I got knocked down and no one was going to help me up. So it's like this comeback is personal. So it's like there's a lot weighing on how these things happen. And there's a lot of pressure that you have, or that you're feeling, to make it happen in a way that works for you, because you know what happens when it doesn't, but you also want it to work for others because you know what happens when it doesn't. Like you're trying to balance these things. You're trying to have introspection for others while remembering to not leave yourself behind. And you're trying to do it with I think that it takes big energy to do that. So I just keep getting this message that maybe there's something about your energy levels that you're trying to increase, kind of like subconsciously, because you notice things are happening that way. Or maybe that's something that can help this situation, can help you maintain your good fight in this situation without making it a fight. Like by keeping it, by staying in the game, but not spiraling or spinning out or something while you're in it. Let me see what else is in your deep past, because I think that'll tell us more. Okay, and then tell me about this King of Cups here. Maybe this is, well, let's see what the card says. Injustice. Okay, I don't know if this is a message for just a few people, but it's almost like there's some kind of a lack of justice with maybe like a parental figure, specifically a father. And like making this world balanced, whatever this relationship is to you, it would, okay, there's a few ways that this can happen. It's like either you feel a deep sense of injustice from someone who was maybe like a water sign or even a father, or you feel a deep sense of justice for them. Maybe something happened to them. And it's like you're trying to either preserve what they gave you that was good, like your heart, your emotions, your emotional maturity. Maybe they had all of that. The other thing is that maybe they didn't have any of that. And maybe your sense of justice here is working through this energy where it's like you're kind of like battling these other things in life that are triggering, like the feeling of being let down by someone, the feeling of feeling left behind by someone, maybe a feeling of abandonment. The feeling of just not getting your needs met, especially geared towards emotional needs here. Because the King of Cups, when the energy's, good there, is like they have excellent emotional maturity. And they're great at being able to love others and like be good providers and be good protectors and do all those things. But sometimes that can indicate like that someone wanted to do those things but couldn't. Okay, so I also noticed like my phone is reading me all of my notifications right now because I have my headphones in, and that's like the only time it does it. And it seems very distracting, and it's all other people's reactions to things I'm posting, things I responded, like texts I responded to. It's all like reactions coming at me. And some of them are like, some of them I can hear the whole thing and they're comforting, or it creates a sense of friendship. And others, I can't hear the whole thing because it only reads like the first part of it. And then I don't know, it's like a cliffhanger. And it feels like slightly, it like ramps up my anxiety a little bit. So I wonder, Libra, if you're dealing with people, some of them, or let me say this, some interactions you're having just smooth things out for you. They really just see you, they let you be you, they be themselves. That works naturally, organically. You don't have to do a lot to tweak those situations. Other times, there's bigger things on the line, and you need them to go good. You need them to not be just problematic or whatever. And so it's triggering something when you don't know how it's going to go. I think it's anxiety. And I think it's this sense of, it's linked to a sense of like feeling abandoned, feeling like there can be good things, but only in this moderation, and then something crazy happens, or and like only the memory can be good, but not the whole thing, not the whole pie, just like the slice of it. There's also a sense of not knowing maybe what is good versus what's just part of the process, because I think that there is something here of like kind of like this emotional immaturity vibe, where it's like maybe you don't feel like you have a good gauge on what's the healthy or emotionally mature way to go through something yourself, or to have someone else share that part of them with you. And so it all just feels like, if it's not black and white, it's just this giant gray area, and you trying to decode it while you're also trying to figure out how to, like, you need to clarify those things in order to move forward, right? And it's just like taking time. So it's like it's pulling on all these different parts of you, and it feels really heavy. But oddly enough, the success that wants to come through is from going from trying to feel light by ignoring all that stuff to feeling light by validating it all. Feeling comforted by facing it. Like by just looking at it and having it, being able to work through it. Also the name Lucas is coming through. I don't know why. That's weird. So I'm gonna pause and read this Life is Better Together card, and I'm going to see what comes from that, and depending on that, we'll see where the reading's at after that. It is number 4 that keeps giving me the indication that this severely affects a personal relationship or your home. It's one or the other. The functionality of your home, or the smooth sailing of your home, or it's a relationship with someone else that needs to like almost be good. Like if it's not good, it's gonna feel really crazy in your life. Or you might have to like walk away from it or something, you know? Or you might keep going back and forth with that. So this card says, life is better together. Seek assistance from your community. Connect with family, friends, or others who will support you. It can be as simple as making a phone call. There is an opportunity to allow yourself to receive help from others. Open your heart and permit yourself to receive the extra support you are being offered at this time. You may need to be proactive and seek out some extra support for yourself. Accepting care from others will create blessings and inspiration, not only for you, but for those who are assisting you. I do feel like specific people in this are like kind of on your side, and other people are like seem very much against you, or like they have their own agenda and they're not compromising on it. And I'm kind of just getting like leaning in and trying to trust that advice, trying to separate the parts of this situation you don't trust or that you get anxiety from and stuff, and trying to remember who is in your corner and like leaning into the trust there, leaning into relaxing, letting your thoughts and your emotions be there, opening up, like that there's different people involved in this, and it's not just the entire situation is like a closed door for processing things. It's just certain people might be. And yeah, that's just kind of how it is right now. Please don't feel isolated, as there are a multitude of options for you now. You might choose to consult with a professional advisor or counselor to help you make a decision or to receive clarity. This may also be a point where you feel called to do some volunteer work and find a way to give back to society or to groups that inspire you. Pilot whales are thought to have a leader or pilot for each pod. Pilot whales may be found in large groups that can number over 1,000 animals. These are close social groups that tend to stay together. Whether or not your team, that's not what it says. Whether or not your support system is close in proximity, you are being asked to surround yourself with people who truly know and understand you. the volunteer work too. I wonder if there's something that you're a part of that's like solely volunteer or like nonprofit based, and where everyone just is a certain way. Or maybe there's like people show up to a specific environment ready to work, not questioning. Like my reference for this is like firefighting, where it's just like I'm ready to give and pour out and like literally give till I can't, because I'm just here to help the situation the way that I'm asked to help. I'm not here to judge it. I'm not here to control it. I'm not here to do anything but be a part of this team. And we all have like this shared goal and we can agree on that. So that's where all of our energy goes. So it's almost like I feel like you're a part of a team like that. But then on the flip side is like, life isn't like that. Just certain parts of our existence are, or certain people that we're involved in are. So I wonder if there's like, if you maybe it would help to prepare to enter certain groups, understanding like, okay, there's a system and a structure here that I can't fight with my emotions, that I can't fight with my anger, that I can't fight, like it doesn't battle that way, but I can battle it in other ways. And maybe I can get the idea to battle it, in a way that works for me and others, from the groups where I'm not battling them, to where we're all just showing up with like cohesive goals. So I don't know, I think I'm just gonna leave it there, Libra. I have a feeling that I just feel the need to say like, actually, you know what? Let me pull a few more, because I was going to stop because of the time, but I actually don't feel like the reading's done. So let me figure that out real quick until I get to that feeling. Oh, the Nine of Pentacles. This was on the bottom of the deck when I looked at it. Okay, so you're getting to a point where like a lot of this is independent energy. You're working through it alone, but you don't have to do it by yourself. You just have to do the work. It's up to you to put those kind of the new things you're learning into play. Sorry, the dog probably just sees a bird. And also that makes me realize is like some of the people that you're dealing with do have strong reactions, and maybe it would help to just know like, oh, that's just their job, like, oh, or not reactions, boundaries or limits. And maybe it would be helpful to kind of be like, oh, that's just them. Like, if that's what it is, let me find acceptance for that. Let me find another way through this. In a way that doesn't cause me and everyone else to kind of flip out or whatever. Because it's like, you want to get through it. You have to sometimes pull away from those strong emotions to remember what the goal is and then to navigate that. And I think that's exactly what you're doing, because Nine of Pentacles with Six of Fire is like a given success, and it's a personal journey of success. So there is a lot of like soul growth and self-reflection, and especially in the Nine of Pentacles, it's a card of like revealing your own shadow side and learning to manage it. And the nines are all about like doing things by yourself, pretty much, like navigating those things on a very solo and independent journey. So I kind of feel like you're there's a big growth point at stake within yourself, and there's a big growth point at stake in a situation you're involved in, and you want both to go well and seamlessly. And I think that could be a hang up, because sometimes it's not going to go that way, but you can still reach your goal. So I think just remembering that, like, you implementing the new things that you're learning, if you can achieve that, that's you accomplishing your goal in it. Even if you backtrack and catch back up and do a little dance with yourself. You learning to navigate this external situation, regardless of how it looks like it's going, if you can achieve some kind of smoothness in that where you believe you're supposed to be there, the other person involved or the others involved are like happy to be there in the way that it is. If you guys can eventually get to that point, I think that that's kind of the goal there. But again, you're in energy where you're in the phase of learning soul growth, where you know what needs to happen, but you don't always know how to make it happen. Or where you know what needs to happen, but you don't always fully comprehend how to do that in the moment, only after the fact. And then you got to like do some repairing or do some backtracking and have some conversations in a different way. And learning can be painful. And that's just sometimes how it goes. That's a lot of the times how it goes. If it was my vote, I would vote that when we learn, we have grace. Because how can you be expected to do something you've never learned how to do before? That's insane. But the way that we structure learning in this world is like almost feel bad about your lack of progress and try not to look at the things you have done, because it pulls away from the things that you're trying to do. And I think I think maybe meeting in the middle there can be a helpful thing. Certainly not only being critical. So I feel a lot better like leaving that here. That was at the bottom of the deck too. It's just showing me consistent energy. And then you got Temperance, learning to manage these things. That's some Sagittarius energy here. You've got some Libra energy here. Maybe some of you guys are parents or fathers and you're seeing these patterns in yourself. It doesn't have to be fathers, but maybe some of you guys are parents yourself and you're seeing these patterns that don't really work for you or your children. You're trying to round them out. You're just trying to do what's best. And sometimes that's hard because your logic and your emotions have to meet in the middle and find a compromise on how best to move forward, because sometimes your triggers will tell you do the opposite of what was done to you as a kid. And it's just, it's not as black and white as that, right? And so we are existing in this gray area, and that's the pain of it all, is that's where we're highly triggered. So the Seven of Swords here is kind of this energy of like deception and trickery and stuff. And I think that it wants to kind of come in to say, I think that the deception and trickery is that old wounds are being rehashed. And it seems like there's previous patterns that are cycling again, but that's up to you, not up to everyone else in the situation. And also, if this is a situation where you've since learned to walk away from things that aren't changing, then the lie is that you can't trust yourself to know when to walk away. The lie is that you have to repeat patterns and not get your needs met and turn into somebody you don't recognize and live this whole process again before you make a change, or before you have the power and the kind of like the backing from the universe to like change it. It's just the triggers. That's the triggers talking. But you have a lot more, you have more options than you feel are being presented because you're so invested in it. And I just learned in therapy, actually, that when you're so passionate about something and you have those strong emotions in something, it just means that something about you has fully committed to it. That's why it weighs so heavy on you. That's why it can get your goat. That's why it's so draining sometimes, is because you're truly invested in it and you care what happens there, and you care what happens to yourself and the other people involved in that. And again, just the part of the process of learning here might just be a painful part of it, but nonetheless, it's a part of the process. And something that helped me to hear is that, like, something I've kind of been explaining along the way is a concept I learned today, which is that where you like start off in this unconscious competence. Unconscious and incompetent. That's kind of how we start out. Then we learn conscious incompetence, where you know what needs to happen, but you don't know how to do it. And then you learn to move into conscious competence, which is where you know what to do and you are doing it in the moment, not just after the fact and not just to mitigate damage, but because you have the goal in mind and you can walk with that and you're present about it. And then it turns into unconscious competence. The more that you practice that conscious competence, or the more that you, I guess, practice all of them, but it's like that's the next step after conscious competence, is that your brain just starts doing that automatically. So what I want to leave you with, Libra, is that you're in the thick of it, and it's probably painful and uncomfortable, but what you're practicing now is alluding to a smoother future where you can see these things from a point of, how can I accomplish these goals? How can I remember what I want from it? How can I collaborate with others in a way where I can get that and support whatever they're getting, and like not get in the way of that, but also stay competitive and not be upset about that. Stay competitive and independent, but not angry and feel isolated. And accept that that's the situation sometimes, that's the environment sometimes. And how can I learn to accept all of that to the point where I get myself into a space where I can always remember what the goal is and not get sidelined by my emotions through something and all of that stuff, to just where what you want in this life can keep coming through. And it's not a deal breaker that you have to work with other people that don't always know how to do that. It's just another challenge within yourself to figure out how to keep going, you know? So that's what I have for you guys. And that's where I'm going to leave it. Thank you so much for being here, Libra. And I hope to see you guys in another video. Bye.